Hello everyone and welcome back to Help Me Think, and this episode is a special one because we have a guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I would love to. So my name is Alisa. I'm currently Tanya's sister, and we will discuss in this podcast the event which happened today in the morning. And I think Tanya would want to introduce which event was in the morning.
Yes, thank you very much. So today what happened was there was a Vienna City Marathon, the 42nd Vienna City Marathon happening in Vienna. And I took part in it. Disclaimer, I did not finish it, but it was still fun. But anyways, we'll get to it. And Alisa did accompany me to there. I must say it was a very crucial point. I think it really did a lot for my run. I ended up running 30 kilometers and then just like going out of the route and just not running. But yeah, I must say that the last time I went for a run was 4 weeks ago, and since then I was just, because I got shin splints again, and then since then I did not run. So I was honestly not even planning on running that long. I thought I would just like try and do like 10k, and my previous best was 16 kilometers, just like my ever longest run. But yeah, I registered for this so I registered for this run in autumn at some point. I think November it was when I started doing the 75 hard challenge and I started running more, and so I thought I could actually do it and I could just like train over the winter, but then I got shin splints and I couldn't really run. Well, I did run, but it got worse, and then I tried to heal them, and then it got better, and then I ran again, and then because they were not properly healed, I got shin splints again. So I was not really counting on doing a long run. I was just gonna try and like take part in it because I already kind of paid for it, so why not just go there. In the end I did 30 kilometers in I think 3.5 hours. I think it was 3:29.
Давай скажем, что, короче, такая тактика у меня, что типа рассказывать определенные участки, например, с 10 до 10, с 10, там, да, то есть ты рассказываешь, как у тебя было, как ты рассказываешь.
Okay, давай.
So basically the idea which I just introduced in Russian to Tanya was to discuss every 10 kilometers like
so like my experience and Alisa's experience for every like 10k, or maybe between the times that we met. So we met like 3 times. We met after the starting point. It was hard to count. I needed a minute to count the times. But no, the next
one was at 10 kilometers, and the next one was at about 20 kilometers.
It was literally like 100 meters before 19, I think it was. It's very important. Yeah, and the last one was when I finished my own race. So when we got there, it was 46,000 people who were starting the race altogether, but not everyone was running the marathon. I thought that like 30, because we heard 39,000 was for marathon, but actually only 13,000 were enrolled for the full thing, and the others went for a daily mile for like 1.6 kilometers. Some went for 5k, some went for half marathon, and there was also like a Powerade relay marathon. So like a marathon in 3 parts when like 3 people run the whole thing, so 14 kilometers each. But it was insane amount of people at the start.
Do you want to describe the morning in the car when you just came out of the car and realized how cold is it outside?
Oh yeah, the morning. My thing started at 9:33 because the whole group, the whole batch of people was divided in 6 small batches and smaller groups, according to the speed or like the time that people predicted for them completing the marathon, or accordingly half marathon and stuff. And because I put 5 hours in there, because I was like, no, I'm definitely going to be slower because I didn't really have my training, so it's going to be long. So I was assigned to the last block. It was 6 in total, like I said, and we started at 9:33, and the first block started at 9, like the fastest people. And when we got there, so we left at 6:30. Because I was really worried that we wouldn't get like a parking spot, or that we wouldn't find to the location, or something would go wrong. So we got there at like 8:30. And when I started to change into my like running gear, I didn't even have like any proper gear. I had my leggings and like a top, but I didn't have any like a belt or a vest or anything with, like running gels, energy gels, that I was also kind of worried about, that I would need more like fuel while I would be running. But yeah, that was also a reason why it was really good that Alisa was there, but we'll get to it on our little meetups. Yeah, and so we got there, I started changing into my clothes, and I opened the car door. When I got to the car in the morning, there was a little bit of snow on it, and I really did not expect that, because in London it is very warm and you could walk with a t-shirt, and I was really expecting it to be as warm here, or almost as warm. And so when we got there and I started changing into my running clothes, I realized how cold it was, and it was really windy, and it was even in the like closed parking that it was really cold. And when we got to the tube, we needed to go also a station to the actual location, and we started seeing people with also the like running numbers, with their participant numbers, and the whole train in the tube, there was like, I don't know, 95% people were with those like badges, I don't know, those number plates. And it felt like, I said, it's like we're all one big family, but just some of us are adopted, like meaning myself, and I still think it's very funny. But it's for you to judge, I guess. But yeah, there was just people who were dressed properly, who had some like running vests, or some water, some gels with them, and yeah, just felt a bit not in my plate. But then we got there, and it was so cool. It was so many people.
Yeah, it was so cool, and it was so cool.
Смешно.
Ну, игра слов.
Типа холодно и круто.
Я
думала, ты сказала просто дважды круто. Я думала, ты меня спротивила просто.
Смешно. Well, how? Очень смешно. Ладно, давай. Можно вкратце как-то.
But yeah, anyways, when we got there, it was a lot of people, and it was fun, because I was actually debating yesterday. I was debating whether just not to go, because I was looking at my participant number, and I was just thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? I'm just gonna leave the race after 3 kilometers, and that'll be it, because I'm gonna just get some kind of pain again. Like, what's the point in even just going there, driving all the way to Vienna and all that jazz?
So basically, when we arrived at the station where the starting point of the marathon was, we realized that Tanya has a massive problem of going to the toilet. So she was in the queue for the toilet, which was luckily there, and lots of cabins, so we need to wait for a lot. And in the same time, I was having hysterical laugh looking at the participants, because I don't know why, it looked just very hilarious how they went towards the start.
Yeah, it was just a big like crowd.
Big. So the security guards, they were taking the rope, and all the participants, like thousands of people, were behind this rope, and they slowly moved forwards, and I was just looking at them from the other side of the fence, and I don't know why, I just laughed a lot.
Yeah, and also they also streamed on the big screen at the start of every block, really, but it was so cool to see how fast the first block went. Like they just sprinted at the start. So they were just walking like very, very slowly to the start, but then when the time actually starts recording, they just like sprinted forward.
So as we calculated, for the fastest person, he needed to run at the constant speed of 20 kilometers per hour for 2 hours 8 minutes, because he finished in 2 hours 8 minutes, and it's just insane because I can't even run 20 kilometers per hour for a minute, and he needed to do it like for 2 hours.
And it's like average speed, and so like I don't know, because you start also with this whole other people, so you need to, I don't know, run around them somehow, because I also, when our block started running half an hour later, the first bit where you run on the bridge, so you run over the bridge to the city, all the people, they just run so close to each other, and you kind of need to, you know, be like a fish in between them and find your way to like more free spots, so that you're not completely squeezed between two people.
But the guy who actually won the marathon this time, he took part in it for the second time, and the first time he had a result of 2 hours 10 minutes, so he probably knew that he's quite fast, so maybe he was in the first line when they first started.
Maybe.
But they all were very fast, because the difference between the times of the second, third and fourth person was about like 1 minute, and not more. So,
and like 1 minute difference for a distance as long as 40 kilometers, it doesn't make you a winner, but you still have to run so fast, and like 1 minute difference when you run 2 hours. Well, for me, it would have been, it would have been probably 5.5 hours. But, you know, and like 1 minute is really not that much.
It's not that much at all.
That's great. That's crazy.
So let's move towards the start of Tanya's run.
But yeah, so we kind of just warmed up, and we both warmed up. And then we went to the back to my block F with all the slowest people, but it was fine. It was no pressure, and was debating for a while whether I should wear my jumper or not.
Jumper? It was just a regular hoodie.
Well, a hoodie, okay.
Jumper is a sport one, and you didn't have any sport clothes yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Before I was leaving London, I stared at my like running long sleeve for a while, and I thought, no, I'm definitely not gonna run with it. Like, I'm definitely gonna run just with a top because it's gonna be hot. I should have taken it with me, but it's fine. It was fine. So in the end, I feel like the only person in the last 4 blocks with like a top, with anything short. Like, there was a couple of people with shorts, but mainly people with jackets or with, I don't know, long sleeves or something, or some with like little sport hats and stuff. And I also forgot to bring my gloves. So the main problem for me was my hands, because they just started freezing already before I started. And then after the first kilometer, I think I called Alisa and was like, are you gonna go to the car, because can you please bring my gloves?
You called me like actually 5 minutes after it started, because I just made my way to the station.
Okay, then it must have been just before the first kilometer. It was after we crossed the bridge, because the bridge was very, very windy, and I realized how cold it was. So I asked Alisa to bring my gloves, but then it was so many clothes on the ground. So at some point I thought I could have just picked up some gloves from the ground, and also like jackets and everything possible, just laying on the ground.
The thing which I noticed after you and the run, that some people, they were just going through this alley and they were just picking up the clothes, and they were just like choosing and finding the right ones for them. And I was like, man, woman, what the actual hell is happening? Like, I know people probably won't come back for this clothes, but they might if they don't have any relatives or friends to take these clothes, and they were just stealing these clothes. And I was quite mad.
Yeah. But it's also like I just asked myself like it's the beginning of the run. It's like, is it really worth it to come to the start of the run with this jacket, with this like with all those clothes, just to leave them there, just to have them for like, obviously it's cold in the beginning, but if you just come there, like I don't know, you could as well just, there was people with like those foils that you just, you know, have for emergencies or something in your car or wherever, who just held them. So it would have been just smarter to bring this kind of thing that you can just buy easily, you know, and not like your favorite jacket or something. I don't know. Or maybe it wasn't their favorite, but still it's like a good clothes that they just left there. Weird. I don't know.
So at the moment when you called me, I was very, very stressed. I thought it's my hardest mission in my life, and I need to be very supportive and very active.
Oh.
So the first thing I thought after you began, it was just to go across the bridge by the subway and just meet you there, just give you high five. But when you called me, I was just like a James Bond. And I was just running towards the parking.
Yeah, park house.
Yeah, let's call it parking.
let's call it parking. Okay.
Basically, I needed to take 2 trains to different lines of subway to go there, and just a bit of run. And I did it, and I even ran in the subway.
Just inside the train.
Inside the changing between the trains. So, and then I had a problem with accessing the parking because we need to have this ticket to just scan it and the door will open. But I didn't have this ticket, and Tanya didn't have this ticket as well because she left it in the car, and we did expect that we needed this ticket to come in. So basically I called the woman inside the box, and I said like hello, and I don't speak Deutsch, so I was just German. I don't speak German, so I was just shouting like, hello, my sister is running marathon and I really need gloves for her. Can you please open the door? It's in the car. And they said like, yeah, the door is open, she said. And I was like, well, thank you. And I was running towards the car, and then I look all over the car to find these gloves, and I called Tanya, and she said to me like, it's in the spot with glasses. And I didn't see this spot because I thought it's inside the box with glasses.
Yeah, because I also had 3 like cases for glasses, so 1 for sunglasses and 2 for just my normal glasses, and I meant it was under the just normal glasses case.
And they were dark, so they were like black inside the black car in the dark parking space, so I couldn't find it. And then I found it, and I took Banana as well to her trousers. So I was carrying her clothes, and I was running towards the Vienna Opera to meet her there. And it was our first meeting point because it was just about 10 kilometers. So I was literally running, and I don't know how it happened, but we were in the same spot in the same time. I think when I came out of the subway, Tanya was running like next to the subway, and then I called her. I said like, have you passed the Vienna Opera? She said like, yeah, I just turned left. And I was like, wait. And I thought she couldn't stop, so I just ran as fast as I can in my Uggs and with my bag, with my coat. And then she was just standing there and chilling, and I brought her banana. So it was our first spot to meet. So tell me, how was your first 10 kilometers?
Yeah, so I just want to add to this like meeting moment. So yeah, when Alisa called me, she was like, wait, have you passed the opera yet? And I was like, yeah, I just turned left, like she said. And she's like, no, wait, I'm gonna be on the left, wait. And so I was just like, okay. And I just started like waiting on the left, and I was looking for her, and she was just sprinting, just like those people who started in the block A, and yeah, with the bag, with everything. So yeah, and I had my banana because I wanted to eat it just like half an hour before the race. It was also a lot of thinking, well, not really a lot of thinking, but I didn't really know what to eat beforehand and like at what time, so to give me like the most energy. But in the end, I forgot to eat my banana that I wanted to eat like half an hour before the race. So Alisa thought of bringing it. It was very sweet and thoughtful.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Tanya was very chilled, and I was very nervous. I felt like, I don't know, the doctor who just saved the life for a person. I was like, yeah, I'm here finally. And Tanya was like, oh, I'm so chill, like the weather is so nice, everyone is so supportive. And I was like, okay, well, and then I relaxed and I was just chilling for the rest of the time, and Tanya
Tanya wasn't anymore. No, but the first 10 kilometers were actually like the best time. It was extremely just, it was nice weather. It was the only thing, like my fingers were really, really cold. I stopped to go to the toilet like at 10 kilometers or something, and because I adjusted basically this running number to both my top and my leggings, like my trousers, I could, like, I realized I had to open the two like clips, you know, the pins, so that I could actually go to the toilet. And then when I tried to close them, I had to ask someone for help to close it because my fingers were just so frozen and I couldn't do this like small motoric movements myself. So it was very, very good that I got the gloves in the end. But yeah, that was the only thing that was actually hard the first 10 kilometers. It's crazy how fast the time went by, because for me 10 kilometers it used to be like something, you know, quite a long run. Like I didn't really go for many 10 kilometer runs or longer, like never before really, like it was a couple, but this time it just, like, the first hour went by so fast. And yeah, it was just so wholesome, this whole route. There was so many people cheering for someone in particular with, you know, those either like particular names, like, yeah, I don't know, Marcos, go, you can do it, blah blah, or just, you know, just some general ones. And there were also people with like cardboard signs that said like tap for power, tap for strength, tap for speed, blah blah. And yeah, it was just, I don't know why, but when you run with so many people, you just kind of, you feel like you're part of something bigger than you. And I was just so happy to I don't know, to just have the privilege to take part in something like this, and to, I don't know, just have the health for it, just have the ability to do it, to be running with all those people, to see all the different people. There were like older people. There was a guy with a t-shirt that said 100 Marathon Club, and I was wondering if he ran 100 marathons in his life, because he looked like, you know, age-wise he could have. And it's just so crazy to just be amongst all those people and just watch them. Like a lot of actually elderly people. I'm not sure they were running the whole marathon. Maybe they were running like 5k or half marathon. But still, just the fact that you just like take part in something like this, I just really, really felt so motivated and so like good to be there. And all those motivating cheering signs, you know, there was a band playing some, like, I don't know, African music or something, just really, really fun. And you just run also in the middle of Vienna. You just run to the opera, and I don't know, very, very cool. I wasn't tired, surprisingly. So yeah, the first 10 kilometers, I was just really appreciating the weather. I don't know, that nothing hurt like I was expecting it to. And I was feeling very, very, what is it, like, not even motivated, but I was feeling like I could actually run quite hyped up. Like I could do quite a lot today. And yeah, then when Alisa called me, I was happy to get the gloves and to eat the banana, because and I don't know, I just realized I could actually stop and just, you know, talk to her for like 1 minute. Because I don't know, I didn't really have to run the whole thing through. Yeah, so that was the first bit of the run. I actually realized that we had like 3 meets in like 30 kilometers, so it was like 10, 20 and 30.
Was the reason why the last meet was at 30 kilometers, not 25.
Oh, was it?
So yeah, because I was like 25 is very soon after 20, so
yeah.
we just said goodbye and we meet again.
We just said goodbye. No, but at 25 I actually realized, I think if I had met you at 25, I would have said I can't do, like I would have stopped at 25 because I was ready to stop at 25 already, and I would have just been happy with 25 again, because like my like kind of goal was to just at least run the like my previous like personal best, so like 16 kilometers. Like, so I said if I even run more than that, like even 16, I don't know, 17, I'd be already happy. Or even just longer than 3 kilometers, because I had it before that. I thought my shin splints were healed, and then I go for a run again. It was only like 5 kilometers. I get it again. So, or even in the middle of the run. So I was really prepared to get some kind of pain in the first like 5K. But then the best scenario was to just run like a half marathon, because I thought like, okay, I can't get any like, you know, medal or any really acknowledgement that I did it. But for me, it would still be really cool, because like no training, you know, just like completely gambled it, randomly just went there, you know, let's see what happens. So again, I'm very happy with my result. But again, we'll come to it. Let's go in order, shall we? So that was the first bit for now. And then, so then we said we'd meet, because I was like really, you know, in good spirits. I was like, no, I'm definitely going to run 20. You know, like the 10 went really smoothly. So I should definitely be able to run the half marathon. And so we said we'd meet at about 20 kilometers, because we had to also look at a point where Alisa could get at like kind of the same time when I would be there. And so then it was almost 19 kilometers when, or like it was 18 when you called me and said you were going to be there soon, like soon on my right side.
So how this 10 kilometers went?
I started feeling my like hip flexors getting more tight at about 15, I think, but I was still like very hyped because it was close to my record, so like to my PR. So I still had this like little, you know, like the last kilometer until it is actually my ever longest run. And but I think at like about 15, 16, I started to feel a bit tired. And a bit earlier even, I think even before 10, I started to feel my football getting... No, but you know, like where your toes are, and before that, there's like where you basically, the part that you basically step on when you run. I started getting some blisters on there, on the right foot. I don't know why not the left, but yeah, that's details. But yeah, at 15, 16, I started to feel a bit tired. And then by 18, I was just like, I started to get a bit of back pain. And I already kind of thought like, okay, I could actually go home, but I wanted to do like at least 21 kilometers. But that was the point where at this point I was already like, okay, it is getting tiring, it is getting a bit more, you know, just hard and exhausting. And and I also wanted to eat something as well. So we were at Mariahilferstrasse when it was 18 kilometers. So it's like this like shopping street. So I was looking whether anything would be open, like any shops, anything to get something to eat. And then I saw a bakery, so I thought like, oh yeah, cool, I could go there, you know, maybe if Alisa was somewhere here close. So it was a very, very nice surprise when I saw her and she had food. That was very sweet.
Okay, well, so how these 10 kilometers went for me. It was a quite funny story, because first of all, I just cooled down after I met Tanya, and I saw her just chilled, so, and like positive and this stuff. So I just went to McDonald's to buy myself a green tea, because we don't have it in England and we don't have it a good one in Russia. So we just only place where I can buy it in McDonald's in Austria. So I bought myself a big glass of green tea, and then I tried to find a spot where I can meet Tanya, but this spot was like after 20 kilometers, so I thought it's quite far, because I asked her where should we meet next time. She said like I said like, let's meet at 20. She said like, oh, you can meet me earlier if you want. And then I tried just to find a spot where can I meet her. So I saw Spar on my way, and surprisingly it was open, because I expected everything to be closed, but maybe because of the marathon they opened on Sunday. So I didn't know what to buy, but I just wanted to balance some food. So I bought the small bottle of orange juice, fresh orange juice, and some crackers with cheese, because when we were walking 100,000 steps, I saw Tanya buying this cheese and just eating it on her way, and I decided to buy just sliced cheese and these crackers, so I just put them in small sandwiches
That was so great.
inside the glove for the bakery, because I wanted some sanity. I wanted some sanity.
Sanity is like sin. It's like no. Sanity.
Учим английский, 24 часа challenge.
No, sanity is that you're like in the right mental state.
Okay, that's what I want to.
Like sanitarity.
Sanitarity. Okay, I wanted some sanitarity, so I took this glove for the bakery, and I put these sandwiches inside the glove. So. And basically I saw this line when people crossed 21 kilometers, I think, or 20 kilometers. And then I just walked straight down this road in the opposite direction to meet Tanya on her way somewhere. And I also bought the apple pie from the McDonald's, because I wanted this apple pie, and I thought Tanya would just take a bite from it, and I would say like, don't eat a lot, it will be hard for you to run, and then I will finish most of it. And surprisingly Tanya didn't want to eat it, so I just had it all. And then we met, and I saw her quite tired, I think, at that moment, but I knew she would run more than 21, because it wasn't so hard, I think, yet. And we just had a break, and I think your headphones lost charge when, so it's the moment when everything went quite not right. So we had a break, and then we separated again, and I went to McDonald's to just charge my phone a bit and finish the apple pie and relax a bit and just create my new journey to the next point.
Yeah, so I also don't think we said it, but there was this app that I could start when I started the race. I started like GPS tracking, because everyone had on their participant number, everyone had like a GPS tracker, and so obviously so that like the whole like organization, I don't know, could see how long it took you, but also you could register in the app, and then everyone, like anyone who wanted to, could actually follow you on the map, and also see your speed and your pace and everything, your times, and so that Alisa could actually see where exactly at what point I was, so that we could meet. I think that was like very helpful, otherwise I don't know how we would have found each other.
Because I think if you would send me the geolocation, you will lose a lot of a lot of charge.
Yeah, a lot of charge, and also a lot of mobile data, although.
Yeah, and it was very, very precise, because I could see your steps in like every 10 steps on the map, and it was very precise, because I like at the moment I saw you on the map, I saw you in the real life, so it was very useful. And the route is very good, so I could see it on the map as well.
Yeah, that was very, very good, because again, like I think we would have found each other somehow, but I think it saved a lot of like me looking at my phone, a lot of just like stress and just, you know, misunderstandings and everything, I don't know, and like something that we don't really need while running as well. And also, I forgot to say that I think at about actually when Alisa called me, so it was 18 kilometers, I was talking to her, and my like right AirPod died, and then the left one like straight after. It was only like 2 hours in, like a bit more than 2 hours, I think, or just a bit less, I don't know. But yeah, I did not expect them to die so early. I had a little thought about that in like the evening before, but I didn't really want to bring my like wired AirPods or like wired headphones, like earphones. But so yeah, I didn't really follow this thought. So I just brought the AirPods. I thought I would charge them in case, I don't know. And then basically while we were talking, I think I stood there for like 5 minutes or something, maybe a bit less, I don't know. I charged my AirPods in the case. And then I was even gonna take the case just with me and put it in my pocket, my only pocket in my leggings. But then I looked at the charge and it said like it was literally like almost fully charged. The earphones themselves. I was like, nah, it's fine. Like they lived for 2 hours now. I'm probably not gonna run the full 42 kilometers, so they would definitely live until 30. Like that was my estimate at that point. Like when we met for the second time, that was my estimate that 25 probably yes, and then maybe 30, but like we'll see. So I was quite sure that they would live for another like 2 hours or 1.5 hours, which would be probably enough for me to go another 15k. And so I left the case with Alisa because I just didn't really want to bring it with me. Not that it's like heavy or anything, I could have just put it in my pocket, but I don't know, like then it would have been harder for me to take out my phone. I would have to always check that the case stays in the pocket and everything. I don't know, I just didn't see it as necessary. I just thought like, I don't know, I'm just gonna leave it with her. But yeah, surprisingly, they didn't live for another 2 hours. I really don't know why, because it showed like full charge. And so the right one lived for like, I don't know, until like 22 kilometers. So for another like 4 kilometers. And the left one died like another 10 minutes afterwards. So I didn't have the music. I had an idea of calling someone whilst running. So like I thought of calling my mom, because I thought like I wouldn't really talk much, but I'd ask her to tell me something, and then I would just be like and so that my brain would be just busy with something else. Because I also didn't plan anything really in terms of music or podcasts or anything, like what I would listen to, because I feel like that's a very important part as well. Like how, like in the beginning you may need some, like motivational music, or just some, like let's say more upbeat music. And then I thought at about 15 kilometers I was thinking of like calling my mom to really like have a little switch in my brain. But yeah, just about when I thought about it, just when I passed the half marathon sign, like when I was 21 something, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna call her and tell her like, how are you? I just passed the half marathon sign. My headphones died, earphones, and so I was like, no, okay, I guess not. And then I also looked at my phone, and my phone was also dying. I think it had like 30% or something. And I really didn't want it to happen. Like, I couldn't let my phone die, because then Alisa couldn't find me. I couldn't find her even like afterwards. Even if I was to just leave the race, I just probably like it would be really hard to find her. A lot of stress, a lot of everything. My thing couldn't be recorded. My steps and anything. So yeah, that was also one of the reasons, I must admit, why I decided not to run past 30 kilometers. Well, obviously because I was just tired and dead, but also because of that, because like I thought I couldn't run without like music anymore, without anything. And I couldn't also charge my phone really while running, I guess, because I thought about taking the power bank, but I thought it would be quite heavy and just in my pocket, just wouldn't even fit in my pocket, I thought. So yeah, that was also one of the factors. But yeah, after like 22 kilometers, when a lot of people also went to the right to finish the half marathon, it was a lot less people left in like our route, and it started to get like much harder. Like literally when we went to the left to the full distance, I just noticed how much harder it started to get. It was also less people cheering. It was just quieter, smaller, like narrower streets, and yeah, just kind of, I don't know, not as cheerful vibe anymore. And my legs started to get really heavy, and I think at like 23, let's say, kilometers, it was the first time where I walked for like 1 minute. I looked at my watch because I knew it wouldn't get easier really to run afterwards, but I just couldn't anymore. And all the people around you, it's so interesting to see how people, like, you all know that you all ran the exactly same distance, and you can kind of imagine how people around you. And there was a couple that were talking the whole time. I was like, nice guys, you look so just chill, just talking throughout the whole thing. Very nice. Yeah, and there was a girl who just ran next to me. Like, we ran next to each other for about 5 to 10 minutes, I think, like with exactly the same pace. That was also interesting. I was just about to talk to her and, or like, say something cheerful, like, we've got this, but I don't know, didn't really have the energy for it, I guess. I don't know, just never done it. I was constantly thinking about like how long I could actually do it for, because I thought Alisa would be at 25 kilometers, and starting from 24 to 27, I was just constantly looking for her in any like little group of people cheering or just standing there. I would just look if she was there, but because I thought of just like meeting her there and stopping at 25. Then I thought to myself, well, 25, I could as well do 28, because it would be 2/3 of the route. I don't know, just kind of a nice number. And then I was like, 28 is almost 30. So I might as well do 30, because it's I don't know, just a nice number. And just, she wasn't there, and I was just kind of looking, but at the same time just running and just, moving forward, which was good, and always looking at my watch and looking how what the distance was. So yeah, I think it was good that you didn't really come to 25, because otherwise I think I would have stopped at 25. I think I already said it. Okay.
So meanwhile, I was chilling in McDonald's again because I went there because of the nice design and the relaxed place. So I need to charge my phone with my power bank, but my charger is quite bad, so I need to just sit and don't move, so it will charge. And then I waited for it to get a half of the charge so I can move on. And then I just tried to imagine my route towards the 25 kilometers, but it wasn't very good because the route was making a loop. So from 25 to 30, it's just almost a straight line, and I could run with them, but I couldn't run with them, so I would need to take the subway, and of course it wasn't a straight subway along this line. So I decided to move to 30 because it was more important to just meet Tanya there at the last point than to meet her at 25 and be late for the finish. So I just waited for a bit, and then I walked towards the subway, and some guys gave me a bag with some free things, like a dog and pen and lighter, something like this. And they said something on German. I was like, sorry. And they said I can have a free drink. I said, what drink? And they said go on and ask. And then I came, and it was just water, sparkling water, or juice. So I just took water.
What juice was it?
Orange juice, but not fresh.
Ooh.
And then I just took a subway towards the station because it was very close to the 30 kilometers. So probably they did it on purpose, just people can get to it. So I saw a lot of people just going from there to this station because I think they were just cheering in different stages as I did. And yeah, it was quite fun as well. And I didn't buy any new food because I thought we have a lot already. And yeah, and then I arrived and I really wanted to find a toilet, and I saw a toilet in a very far distance, but I thought I don't have time because you would just arrive and I won't be there. And I was just walking, I thought I will meet you and then we'll go to the toilet together. But on the way there, I saw a very good toilet and I was surprised with the design of it. It was very fashionable, and yeah. So I went there and I was chilled after it. And then I started to just track you on the map, and quite soon you were there and we met. You weren't very happy, I think, but with 2 pieces of banana, so I thought it's not that good, not that bad that you were holding bananas, so you can hold something at least.
That's good.
I saw you the idea of finishing here. I was quite happy with this idea, not because it was close to the parking, just because I knew you could run the whole marathon, but I didn't think it was a good idea just to like stop at this point, so you would be very exhausted and tired and you would never do it again, and it wouldn't be very healthy, I think, for the next day or maybe more than the next day. So yeah, I think it's a nice start, especially that you didn't train for it, so well done. And I really prepared my speech for the moment I meet you at the 30 kilometers, but I just said go on, put the trousers on and the shirt on, the hoodie on, because mom asked us to just wear tiny.
To just dress me after I come. Yeah, because so the last 3 kilometers, like from 28 to, at 28, I was already kind of worried that you might be there, because it was in the middle of this alley that we also ran before, and in the middle of it was 28, and like by the end of it was 30, like almost, well, it was like 29,600, and then afterwards, after I met you after this table with water and bananas, I saw you and you were like, how are you? And I'm like, I'm running 30 and that's it. Like, kind of, when you have like tears in your throat and you kind of try not to like cry, and you try not to, you're also running, so your breath is also a bit more fucked. Yeah, and so like I was worried that you would be in the middle of this alley and I would see you at like 28, and when I would be like, okay, well, you have to run with me now because I'm doing 30, because by then I wanted to finish it. I also walked, like the beginning of the alley, I walked for a minute as well, and then I started running, and from somewhere I got some more energy, some more strength, and I was just overtaking people, and I was hoping, like I was thinking to myself, like, okay guys, please don't, I don't know, be hard on yourself, or like kind of, because obviously you kind of compare still yourself with other people who overtake you or who you overtake, and you still kind of have it in your head, even though I was surprised how little I was comparing myself to others. But yeah, I was just hoping that people wouldn't like kind of think about it that much, because like it was just my strength for the last 2 kilometers, and for them it was still like 12. But I just kind of I don't know, for me it was kind of like the same, whether to run like a bit slower but a bit more chilled maybe, or a bit faster, because I was dying anyways already. My feet, like my running form was already worse. Like I wasn't really running on my like foot balls, but more on just like midfoot or like whole, foot, because I just didn't have the strength anymore to just really care about my form, and because it takes more strength kind of to run properly. I was just trying to run as fast as possible and just finish it as fast as possible, because I just already decided, because like I said, I was debating how long to run, but by then I was just kind of certain I would do 30 kilometers, because 42 I was just like, no, like there's no point, I'm just gonna have, and it was also an important moment for me, I guess, because I didn't finish it, but I decided for myself, like, it is smarter to just not run it now. It's still like it has been before, and it will still just stay my goal for like life to run a marathon, and I will do it. But now, just like without preparation, without training, it's just not going to be, it's just going to be even less healthy as it is now already. And I'd rather just like stop here. It's still like a very, very good effort. It's still a very good result. It was quite a good pace as well. And, I was just happy with the run, because I'd never done such a long distance before. And this goal of running a marathon will just stay for next year and year after, but I can just run and train for it, because now I feel like I can run long distances and I can run without injuring myself if I run with proper form. So it was just this like decision, just conscious decision of just not doing it now, just leaving for leaving it for another time, even though I don't get, this medal or anything of participation. That was very sad. Because I even paid for this, medal with my name and my finish time. It was 13 euros extra on top of the actual participation price. But yeah, and then I saw Alisa literally after the table with bananas, and I was like, has it already been 30 kilometers? And soon, it's almost there. And then I looked at my watch, because my watch was 600 meters in front, so it said I had already done 30.3. So I calculated, I was like, no, it's still 300 meters. Still 300 meters doesn't sound as much, but it was not little, the last 300 meters. And then I crossed this little basically the spot where they measure your GPS, and they say, okay, 30k, this is your time, this is you are here, and it beeps. And then I stopped and waited for Alisa to come and breathed heavily and looked at people running past me.
So when we were on the way back home, we discussed this all. So, and I compared the marathon with the challenge we did last year, the 100,000 steps. And I'm glad we did it last year successfully from the first attempt. But I think the marathon is not such a thing, because this challenge we did, it's very stupid thing. So I suggest it's nice that we did it first attempt and we didn't repeat it this time. We tried, and we decided to just go home when it was 90,000, which is still a lot. And I'm very glad we did it, because I didn't see a purpose of finishing this 10k.
Yeah.
So, and this time the marathon is a very different thing, because the point of the marathon just to run the whole thing without getting very, exhausted and just dying in the end. Of course, you will be tired and the legs will be hurting, but it's the purpose of it just to train to get used to such long distances. So if people run 100 kilometers, it's hard to train for 42 kilometers. So, and I thought maybe if Tanya would run it this time and be extremely tired in the end, she wouldn't maybe repeat it next time, or just repeat it again without any trainings, just to say, okay, I did it last time, so it was fine without the training. And I think now, without the training, 30 kilometers is a very good result. So you probably can do it, and I hope you will just train for this year and next year with a very good pace and very good result in the end.
Maybe with someone else, not me. That'd be very smart to train. And also about the training, it's kind of I feel like today I really felt the saying, what is it? It sounds nicer in the original, but do it for the process and not for the goal. I don't know, not for the end goal. The goal is the process. I don't know. So basically, do it for the process and for the journey, basically, and not for the end, for the finish, for the result. Because while I was running, I was so happy I decided to actually go there in the end, because even if I had just done 10k, it would have been still such a great thing to take part in something like this. And also that I felt I had a good phase of just pure joy and just running and just being happy, and then I still had this hard phase where I had to just really fight through the last 7 kilometers. So that wasn't easy. But now I feel the training for the next time, this is also the process. So, and then you just run, and this is also one of your milestones. You can remember your time that it took you, but also the point is to actually spend time training. And it's also a great thing. I don't know, I feel thanks to the challenge, this is also one of the things that one of the good things it gave me. It made me really like running, because I used to really hate running, and I'd always find some reasons just not to run, why I can't run, something to say why I'm just, how I am disabled so that I'm not able to run. Funny thing, when I was looking for reasons why I couldn't run, just, I don't know, making something up, so that I didn't have to run, kind of. Didn't feel like I have to run at first. And now when I actually started to like running, I was actually injured and I couldn't really run. That was quite sad. But now I'm not injured anymore. I hope I won't be tomorrow either. I feel like I'm really going to be enjoying this process of training, of running, and of seeing like some progress. So I'm very, very happy that I took part in it. And even though I didn't finish, I think it's also a lesson, I don't know, for me to just, like, why give up before you even started? Like, I could have just not went there. But in the end, we both had a good day, I think, right?
Yeah. So I was very grateful to be there as well. Thanks for inviting me and relying on my ability to support. It was very bad idea, I think. But
no,
yeah.
It was very good support. No, honestly, it was a very, very good support. And just really mental, like emotionally, and just actually physically, that, because I was, like I said, I was worried about like not having any gels or anything, but then in the end you just brought me food, and that was, I think, important, that I had some food in between, because it actually, even if you don't feel really hungry whilst you're running, like, I think you do need some kind of food in between.
I experienced lots of emotions, like a full range of emotions which you can feel, from madness when the people just stole the clothes from our people, to like crying when I was walking towards you from 20 kilometers to like 19, and I was just looking at the people and my eyes were wet all the time, because I don't know why, it was just so surprising to see so many people supporting, so many people running. I didn't expect the marathon to be such an event, because I never thought about the process of the marathon. I knew there are a lot of people, but I didn't expect so much. And I think, I don't know where did I see so many people in one place, like doing some active stuff. So it was very, very unpredictable and surprising for me to see it. And yeah, something unusual. And I was glad that I was in the support team and not the running team, because I think it's good to just see it from the side and how it's going, and it's not so scaring. So you're just running in the city, and I think the location was very good, because the center of the Vienna is very beautiful, and I think the distance from 5 kilometers to like 20 something was very nice.
Yeah, to 20, like 5 to 20, you were literally like in the like absolute center. The 21 ended where in museum district, so like the actual center again, like Mariahilferstraße, which is like the absolute center of Vienna. And also it's very flat, so it's good to run. It was just a bit like just a couple of hills, but really like minor, so you don't really notice them compared to other cities. I think that was also a good thing.
I think the route was quite good. Some people who did this route, well done. And also it's nice to see the center of the city without the cars and without lots of people. So I mean, there were a lot of people, but they were running with you, so it's good.
Yeah, but they're all moving in like one direction, and all you can see how they're moving. But yeah, it's so fun to run on like streets where I remember driving, or where I remember being like cars, and now it's just so calm, because it's also Sunday, but also what people would be walking just around, but no cars, nothing, a lot of police.
And it's funny how the marathon occupied the full city, because in the subway there were a lot of people with the signs, some cheering stuff, and I saw them and I knew they're going in the same place as I do. So it was quite a uniting thing to do, especially in the Vienna, because it's not just a random city where you arrive, it's just a city you used to be before.
Yeah, I don't know, you can remember the city being like normal, and now it's just full of people running all together on just like car roads. It's very fun. And yeah, it's just like, I think it really, really showed me how to just take part in something, even though you know that you're probably not gonna finish it or win it, or I don't know, whatever, but you're just there with other people. Like, well, for me it was like, I already registered, I already was planning on doing it, and was all set for doing it. Alisa was ready to go there, so yeah, like, why not go? It's just like, because you would have to like leave at like, not in the end, and people would be looking at you. But like, obviously I had those thoughts, but I don't know, in the end you just like, you go there and you just do a part of it, and it's still really cool. Just the fact that you tried, even though you knew like you probably couldn't do it, or even if you thought you could do it but you didn't do it, still it's really cool.
And also I think if all the people who knew they won't finish the race, they wouldn't go. So only this 1,000 of people would come, and they like would not have any cheering group, so they were just running in an empty street. So
but it does so much for you when running, like the cheering people, because there were people who weren't, I don't know, I feel like they just didn't really know anyone in the marathon. They just stood there. They just chose it as a way to spend their Sunday, to just stand there for hours and like,
but it's actually the quite funny event for people cheering as well, because I think lots of people were drinking, and they were just having fun because they could officially shout on the streets. And they had like champagne and beer, and they just moving in the city to different places and just shouting and like having fun to support, but they were just actually drunk, I think. But it was nice because people who run, they didn't see.
Yeah,
really.
Like I don't really care if they're drunk, like they just there, and even if they're drunk, you just see it, and it's just funny, and you just like, it makes you smile. I think I really want to go to the London Marathon now, not to run but to cheer, because it's also a huge event. It's 27th, I think, of April.
Yeah,
you won't be there,
but I would like to see more people on like the second half, because I think when you see just few people on the sides, it really I don't know, it makes you feel more tired, because you see that less people come, so it means they are tired, that means you are tired if you run all this time. So
yeah, but it really, like, I really noticed the difference. Well, obviously it's also like the long route already, long run, but I really noticed the difference when there's less people. It also got a bit darker and colder, but
in the same time, maybe you don't want like so much noise on the second half, because when I was walking next to the people, I don't know, I was listening to music, and I was quite tired of this gudelki. Those beeping noises, and I was always turning around on the cars, because I thought it's a car who can't just drive through the people because they're running. I was like, oh, wow. And I was just cheering, so maybe it's not bad that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, because also, I don't know, sometimes it was good, but sometimes I feel like after 30 I would just hate them already, because when there's less people, and you, like, everyone has those participant cards on them, and it has your name on it, and so if there's just like little groups of, like 3-4 people running past you, then you can just shout their names and be like, hey Tatiana, let's go. And it made me smile every time, but like also kind of like cringe every time, because they call, like, obviously they can't know that I don't know, I'm not really called Tatiana, but they just read it on my sign. Yeah, it's kind of like, sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's not really. I just found it funny how like they say it to me, but I don't really just like associate myself with this name. But yeah, at some point you just like, bruh, because sometimes you do see like they're drunk. Like there was 2 girls sitting on those like, garden chairs, just on the side drinking like Aperol or something. I was like, and just shouting names and like clapping, and I was like, yeah, okay guys, you enjoy. But in the end, it was a great event, and we've got more events to look forward to that we may be more prepared for.
So after we went to the parking, we decided to drive somewhere to just relax and eat. So we went to the closest McDonald's again, and we had quite a large dinner in the car, and it was very vibey for me because I wasn't very tired. But honestly, my cheeks turned pink because I was running a lot and I was quite tired as well. So not as much as you did, but
you must have a lot of steps as well, and also there's some brain work of finding your way in Vienna subway.
But yeah, it was a very good thing to do because now I know Vienna subway quite good, so I feel quite familiar with it. So maybe next time when I will be there, it wasn't.
Yeah, next time we'll go there, you'll just be our guide because I don't really know it.
So the evening finished quite well. I think Tanya is not dead.
I'm not dead. I've got a couple blisters, but it's fine. It'll heal.
Because I saw you after 1,000 steps.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, well, okay, to be fair, I didn't finish it, but I expected myself to be like much more dead and much more like done than after 100,000 steps, or like at least as done. Like I was surprisingly okay after the run. I could even drive. But we'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow how my muscles feel. But
I hope you won't get ill because the weather was about 0 or 2 degrees.
Really? Oh, I thought it was like 5.
Maybe in the sun, but
yeah,
it doesn't really change much if you were running in the leggings
and the top. Yeah, I think it might be a bit
worth it. Yeah,
it's worth it. Well, that was it. That was today's adventure. Come back for another episode with another adventure, maybe, or maybe just something smart and not completely dumb and just irrational activity. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll hear you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening. See you in the next episode.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.